Hi, I'm Alicia Klein, a prevention specialist with the Council on Chemical Abuse, and it's Red Ribbon Week 2020. Red Ribbon Week is a national drug and alcohol prevention campaign that encourages students to make healthy life choices in order to secure their healthy future. Do you remember Red Ribbon Week? Probably from elementary school or middle school, and they gave you a red ribbon and that shiny gold sticker so you could wear the ribbon all week long. And you even probably participated in some prevention activities. And yes, the focus was normally on younger students. However, we at COCA this year wanted to return that focus to all students, K through 12th grade, because our theme this year is we all need courage. And we do, especially now, we could all use a little extra courage to help us continue to stay healthy, stand up for our beliefs, and make those hard decisions that affect our future. Did you receive this handout? I hope so, because I need you to be able to show me your courage. You're going to hear lots of stories about courage, and I want you to start to think about the role courage plays in your life. And as you come up with those thoughts, I want you to be able to put them down on this paper because I want you to show me your courage. Let's define courage. Webster's defines courage as a mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. But courage means different things to different people. So what does courage mean to you? How do you define courage? And I wanted to know that. I wanted to know how other people define courage. I wanted to know about the courage that people portrayed in their life. So I set out on a journey. And one weekend, I interviewed family, friends, and even strangers about the role courage plays in their life. And here are some of their stories. My first stop, friends and family. So I headed to my friends and family, and I asked them to fill in the blank. Courage is, and to my family, courage is letting others know how I feel and understanding my feelings, knowing that I need help and asking for it, making good decisions for my life. Courage is staying strong. Courage is making decisions that keep me healthy and helpful and calm. Courage is being a warrior and a strong, independent woman. Courage is being assertive and standing up for my beliefs. And courage is being able to say no to the things that lead me away from a healthy life. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said that courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. So what this means is that when we take risk in our lives, or when we have to make tough decisions, we will always feel that fear. That does not go away. However, we decide that what we need or what we want is more important than that fear. So it's overcoming the fears in our life in order to accomplish goals. Tell me of a time that you did that despite fear, you did something anyway. And it could be something very simple as learning to ride a bike or something very hard, right? But think about a time that even though you were scared, you went and you did something anyway. And that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know stories of people overcoming their fear in order to accomplish goals. So I met a young girl who told me that she wanted to learn to swim. She was tired of sitting on the edge of the pool, watching her friends every summer, jump in and splash around and have fun, when she just sat there and had to watch because she was afraid to get in the water. But she decided this summer, I'm going to step off that edge and I'm getting in the pool. And she did, and she learned to swim. Or I met a young man who told me, hey, I just wanted to learn to pop a wheelie on my bike. I was afraid to fall. And he told me he fell a lot, but he kept trying and trying. And then he was popping wheelies with his friends. I heard a story from a young girl on a basketball team who during a game wanted to take the game-winning shot, but she was afraid. She didn't want to lose the game for her team, but she decided she was going to do it anyway. And it paid off. And her team won the game. But I think more amazing was she told me that one shot gave her the confidence to continue to make other shots. I met lots of teens like this who were struggling with peer pressure and having to say no to drinking and vaping and smoking because they were more concerned with their future. And it was hard to say no. Sometimes they made excuses or they avoided certain friends or parties because they decided that their education was more important. And lastly, I want to share a story of a woman I met who started using drugs and alcohol at age 20. And she told me of her struggle, constant struggle with short periods of being clean, but always returning to using. And she led that pattern of life for over 20 years. And one night she said she was feeling so sad and so hopeless and so lost. But she decided she was going to try just one more time. So she found the courage to reach out to her family and to a friend. And last month, she celebrated 3 years of sobriety. Now, sometimes courage isn't overcoming fears, but having to move obstacles that are in your way. And that's how Martin Luther King had defined courage. He said, courage is an inner resolution to go forward despite obstacles. It's a battle within ourselves to continue to move despite the obstacles that are in our way, that no matter what, we will push forward in order to achieve our goals for what we want in our life. So can you think of a time when you had to move an obstacle out of your way in order to complete a goal? And that was my next quest. I wanted to hear stories of people moving obstacles out of their way in order to achieve goals. So I headed into the city. I went into the suburbs, and I found so many people willing to talk to me about their stories. I met Black women and men who told me about how the color of their skin stopped them from getting jobs, having friends, joining clubs. Some of them fought quietly and eventually people heard them, but others took a stand and made a little noise to make changes in their community. I heard from athletes, young athletes that got hurt and trained hard to recover and get back on the field or on the court. I heard from men and women who were in prison and how hard it was to find jobs because of their criminal record. They told me how they never gave up until someone gave them a job. I heard stories about the stigma of addiction and how others told them that they were bad or they were worthless, but they continued to fight hard to stay in recovery and to prove everybody wrong. And finally, I heard story after story about how 2020 proved to be the largest obstacle of all, trying to figure out a new way of life and coping with the stress of unemployment, quarantine, and not being able to see friends and family. It was a long, exhausting weekend, but one of the best weekends of my life. And as I headed home, I was ready to relax. But as I snuggled into my bed, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the people I met that told me that they didn't have courage, or they felt that they were weak or afraid all the time. But even the people that I did meet, they told me about how they felt they couldn't be courageous all the time, myself included. Sometimes it was hard to have courage. But then in the morning, I was thinking and remembered a quote from Maya Angelou, who said, one isn't necessarily born with courage, but one is born with potential. Without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind, true, merciful, generous, or honest. Right? So like anything else, courage is learned and developed over time. And we can do that. And we do that. Because when we find that courage, we will always have the ability to be kind, to be true, merciful, generous, and honest. So I want you to remember that this means that courage does not always mean taking big risk, right? Like jumping out of an airplane or fighting our enemies, right? Courage is found in all of those small little things that we do in our lives that help us lead us to our best self and our best life. Courage is helping others, right? Or helping in our community. Courage is saying, I'm sorry when we hurt others. Courage is leading that healthy lifestyle. Courage is concentrating on school. And courage is saying no to the things in our lives that we don't want, like drugs and alcohol. And courage is showing kindness and love to those around us. Remember, courage doesn't always roar. Doing small acts of courage help us grow and have the ability to do those large acts of courage we need for a healthy future. So think of an act of courage that you can do today, that you can do every day. And also remember that there will be dark days, and we might not always act with courage or with kindness or with love. And that is okay, because everyone makes mistakes. And the sun will come out again, though, and we will find the courage to fix what we did wrong, to say we're sorry. And we'll have the courage to know that that we're not okay and that I need help or support. And we'll find the courage to ask for it. And you will find the courage to make healthy choices for your future.
Hi, I'm Cannon. I'm a 17-year-old senior here in Berks County. Being a teen is stressful, and many times the adults in our lives forget just how overwhelming it can be. With problems at home, with family, pressures to do well in school, homework, play sports, or maybe work or take care of siblings and other family members, along with pressures at school to make friends and be included. And let's not forget the pressures of deciding on career goals, struggling with who we are, what we believe in, how to avoid using drugs and alcohol, all while coping with a global pandemic. So let me ask you, are you okay? It's understandable if you are not, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Remember that people do love and care about you, and there are many sources of help if you need it. Find the courage you need to ask, and if you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please visit the COCA website at cocaberks.org. Always remember, the adults in your life love and care about you, so never be afraid to reach out to parents, friends, family, school counselors, teachers, or your doctor. And finally, if you have any questions about this presentation or anything mentioned, please reach out to my mom, Alicia Klein, at aklein@cocaberks.org.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cannon. And thank you for listening to my stories of courage today. And don't forget to create your own stories of courage. And one act of courage you can do today is take our Red Ribbon Pledge to be drug-free, which is found on our website. There is the link at cocaberks.org, RRW Pledge. And I know you filled out your own examples of courage, and I would love to see them. So take a picture and post them to social media with the hashtag CocaRed2020. Thank you for participating in our Red Ribbon program. Remember, the little things you do add up to very big things. We all have courage inside of us. So don't forget, show me your courage at hashtag CocaRed2020.